এখন আমরা দর্শকের প্রশ্ন ওয়েলকাম করবো Gemini আপুর জন্য। Mahina Apur? Yeah, go ahead, please.
So, Gemini, I have actually read this story, and it ran very true. So, to me, I sense a blend of post-colonialism and Orientalism in the story. So, my question is, and it's very true, this kind of like hypocrisy where, you know, the West sends foreign aid, but then they have to hire the consultants from here and take back bulk of the money, and, you know, the condescending attitude. So my curiosity is, now that you live here and work here, if you were to go back as a consultant to either Dhaka or Chittagong, how would you be different than Mr. Vincent? Would you? Because you have to do the same thing. I mean, you're going to bring the bulk of the money because that's how the system works. But how are you going to be different than him?
No, I think I'm a hypocrite too. I'm now living here and it's easier. When Bangladeshi chilam, I work for foreign organizations like UNDP or here. It's the same. Even I'm writing about corporations, but even non-profited like even CARE or UNDP or any organization, you're still dealing with foreigners. Our still relationship to Ojaji. Foreigners are helping us, and they're better than us. They're going to do good things for our country, and they're not. I guess development. Development isn't straightforward. If you have cars, then that's not true. So I don't know. I'm just writing. I don't do anything good in the world. So I just observe.
No, that's a great observation, by the way, because this is very true. I mean, it's a true picture of how things work, and like I said, it's the hypocrisy of it all. But it's a necessary thing, so yeah.
Being honest. Now, Mahim is a student of literature, but when I wrote the story, I wasn't a student of, I didn't know the words imperialism or post-colonial. I was just an engineer. Writing, so I was just experiencing it.
Yeah.
A couple of things. The first thing I want to say is, if anybody opens any story, you can't put the book down. It's phenomenal, extremely interesting. Every single story.
Thank you so much.
And one thing I wanted to know, I know you lived in Iraq. Can you tell us a little bit about how you happened to go to Iraq and when you came out and what happened there?
So in the 1970s, there were lots of foreigners in Iraq. There were Bangladeshis, Indians, Pakistanis, and also a lot of Europeans. I had Polish friends, Finnish friends. Everyone was there to develop their oil. Iraq had a lot of money and a lot of development, roads and highways, just developing in a really fast pace. And all of us, my parents made their money in Iraq. We went from being middle class to being
You're in Bangladesh?
The Bangladeshis who went to Iraq. So my parents were, my dad was a professor, but there are other people working in the refineries. They were basically developing all their sectors. And now it feels very strange to be, to see that country being completely poor. Completely poor. But we actually made our money there. So my parents were economically, they benefited from it.
Did you go to school also?
I did, yeah. There was a small school for children of foreigners in English, an English medium school.
English medium?
Yeah, and all my friends were in the Bangladeshis, Indians, Pakistanis.
Since you transferred from engineering to writing, I'm an engineer by profession as well, but never could write, even though I enjoyed reading. So one thing I'd like to know is all your writings about your own experiences, or is there something completely imaginary also that you would write about or think about writing?
It is based on my impulse, right? So impulse is very different from experience. Like if I felt, like this story that I was trying to write, I felt that there's something really wrong. I was trying to write it in many ways. But the experience could be anything. Like I noticed you're orange shirt, so I could put it in my writing. But that character might have nothing, that story might have nothing to do with you. But I'll use everything. My friends should beware of me because I'll just use them in my story. So yeah, I use everything. Like I will eat at someone's house and I'll just put all those details in my story. But that story isn't about them, or that story isn't about the experience that I had. So I'm always scared that someone's
What
gonna
kind of
read the story.
engineer are you?
I was a material science and engineering major.
Good, thank you. আমরা এখন রুমি ভাইয়ের কাছে যাচ্ছি। Next question.
I'm going to speak in English because my statement will probably be related to the first question she had. But before I say anything about her question or whatever, hats off to your writing.
Thank you.
That was the little story you read. It's an eye-opener. Very good. Thank you. Keep up the good work. And I guess we can buy the book here or Amazon, I guess, or okay. I'm an engineer. I'm working here as an engineer, and the difference is I also worked in Bangladesh as an engineer before coming to US in the projects like you mentioned. I worked in a public agency where there are a lot of foreign aid, like you said, CARE, USAID, and all those stuff. And I have to say this, that beggars cannot be choosers. Since we were getting World Bank's money or USAID's money, the thing you're going to buy, I'm just saying, if you buy a plane, all the spare parts will have to come from them. And they actually make more money selling those extras than the actual infrastructure. So I have worked here, and if I go back, will I be any different? Probably that was her statement, you know, I mean, it was a question actually. I would say it depends on the individual, right? If you're just here for the flow, be done, right? But there are people who went back and did good, you know. So at the end of the day, my question is, from your story, the truck driver, Siddiqui or whatever, so what's the message here? It's like a revolution or like awakening, or what was the message there?
So I guess I'm not trying to give a message, but I'm just like
So I think
কিছু একটা
that-
তুলে ধরছি যে
Okay.
okay, this conflict, and then people ask me, well, what's going on? I don't know. I'm just a writer. I just want to point that out. This guy, this driver who thought, oh, a foreigner, they're going to come and develop our gas, no longer thinks that. He just doesn't care. He doesn't want his country to be developed. He just wants to be proud of his country. And that feeling proud of your country and feeling good about yourself is more important than anything. You know, just feeling good. And he really wants to just enjoy his country and his people. And he wants to feel good about himself.
It's a very good.
That was the impulse.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Sure.
Shron ভাই, please.
Yeah. Well, Gemini, it's just a follow-up on this question. It's more of a comment first. It was a fresh breeze of air, reading names like Hassan and Shumi and Mamu in your story. It was really good. And there were characters that, you know, we could put ourselves into their shoes and could relate to. So that was really nice. We don't always read English books where, you know, people write about Bangladeshi culture and how people overseas are living their lives and all that. So it was great. What I really liked about your writing is how you do your storytelling. It was really nice. And not all, like, we people can look at things and analyze, but we don't always possess the skill to do the storytelling, or to, you know, say things as things happen. So my question is, do you only write in English or do you also write in Bangla?
আগে আমি বাংলায় লিখতাম, সবসময় বাংলায় লিখতাম। এখন সেম আই গেস তারিখ ভাইয়ের মতো যে আমি এখানে এসে ইংলিশে লেখার ট্রেনিং নিলাম, তারপরে এখন আই থিঙ্ক আমার বাংলা খুবই খারাপ, মানে মানে অনেক অনেক চর্চার পরে হয়তো আবার বাট হ্যাঁ আমি অনেক মানে অনেক নভেল লিখেছি বাংলায় তারপর হারিয়ে গেছি Very sad.
Do you still think in English or in Bangla?
যখন ঝগড়া করি বাংলায়
Both of you right, use two languages so efficiently.
আচ্ছা আমার একটা দ্রুত করার চেষ্টা করবো ভালো বলেছেন আমি প্রচুর কথা বলি প্রচুর ভাবনা আসতে থাকে অল্প কিছু কথা বলবো একটা হচ্ছে যে এই নিয়ে আমি একটা ছোট একটা কথা বলতে চাই গল্প নিয়ে যখন সাবজেক্টে আলোচনা হয় লিটারেচার নিয়ে আমরা যেটা আমাদেরকে ক্যাটাগরাইজ